Welcome to the Football Historian Podcast.
By all means, enjoy it.
He will go right to the very top.
Dos, tres, cuatro times.
Here we go, Germans.
I will turn these results round.
All right, that's good manners.
There's animosity, but there's no fight.
You can't beat them, join them.
How do you make me feel sick if I look at you?
No, I want to fight here. But
Don't drink, don't sleep with women, don't drive fast cars.
sometimes it may be good, sometimes it may be shit.
Hi, hello everyone, and welcome to the Football Historian Podcast. Today I'm very honoured to be joined by Phil Boersma. Thank you for coming to the garage. It's only round the corner, but thank you for coming round.
Well, I've been in worse places.
Well, we've had two former players on before you. We've had Howard Gale and Gregory Vignal, but you are our third ex-pro to sit in that chair that used to be in my kitchen.
Very privileged.
So I want to start off with just asking about your career at Liverpool, really. I think it says here you started in the reserves, 18-year-old, 1967. Obviously, there was quite a good first team in front of you. What was it like just playing for Liverpool reserves at that point?
Well, obviously, I was spotted by this chief scout to start from the beginning. Jeff Twentyman saw me playing for Kirby Boys, and I was playing as a centre half. And I don't know why, but he seemed to be impressed by apparently my leap. He said, I've never seen anybody jump and head the ball, for a centre, I said, well, isn't that what centre halves are meant to be doing? No, nobody rolled the ball out in them days. It was just a big hoof down the pitch, and as a centre half, you had to go and head the ball. Yeah, which I did, and so I joined them as a centre half, basically as a teenager, and because I could get up and down the park fairly quick. They thought, you're playing centre half. Yeah. We'll put them out on the wings and whatever. And then I think it was Ronnie Medana at the time who was the A or B team coach, and so I was playing in the wide positions and doing reasonably well. And then again he said, well, why don't we put them up front? I'll play whatever you want me to play, to be honest.
So you were a Liverpool fan as a kid? Yeah. Or?
Funnily enough, my uncles were Liverpool supporters. As a kid, I had a fond little touch for, the Busby Babes. I did, I mean, Manchester United at the time, with Bobby Charlton and stuff. And, and I got to know the Charlton family very well. Yeah. But, I was, obviously my uncles cheered me over to Liverpool. But back in them days, Everton were the better team. Yeah. And as a kid, it was only, I think, threepence to get in the boys' pen. So I used to go and watch Everton one week and Liverpool the next week. Yeah.
Well, but so you say there you were centre-back for Kirby Boys, but it's at Liverpool that you actually, is that the first time you ever played further up the pitch? Was that in a Liverpool shirt? Or?
Oh, yeah. I mean... Well, I did start as a centre half, obviously, but because I could, I would join every attack. I would join in, because I could get back.
Yeah. And it was quite an impressive team that the reserves were behind.
Absolutely. Well, it was, Joe Fagan was a terrific coach. I mean, he guided me along the way.
Yeah. Well, there's one quite big person that was at the club at that time named Bill Shankly. I just want to ask you. Any thoughts, any memories of Bill?
Well, I could sit here all day and talk to you about Mr. Shankly, and a lot of people say, Bob Paisley came along, and Bob was cute and clever, and he learned off Shanks. And if you were to, and he won more trophies than Shanks. But if Bob Paisley could never have done what Shanks did, because Liverpool was nothing when Shankly came to the club. Bob Paisley, it's only my opinion, didn't have the personality to drag us from what Shanks dragged us from. Yeah. Into, being an ordinary team and, to what, Shanks took us to.
Yeah, but I think as you start breaking in, I think it was Alan Evans gets an injury, and is it late 1970? I've got there that you made some of your first appearances. It was Man City debut in the League Cup, West Brom in the league, and Spurs was your first Anfield game. So you had a run for a couple of months there where I think you got in the team for the first time. What was that like to play for the first team at Liverpool?
Well, it was a dream come true as a a young kid growing up, and I couldn't wish for that. But I've got to be honest. I mean, I didn't really want to be a footballer. I wanted to be, I was a good mile. I think I was the first teenager to run a mile in under 5 minutes.
Wow.
At school.
Yeah.
So I really wanted to be but I didn't know, there was nobody there to tell me where to go to be a middle distance or an athlete.
So you had to
and
play
along
football.
comes, so I took up football instead. Yeah.
It's not a bad alternative.
Well, I thought, at least I'm running around.
Well, those first few games, was there someone in the dressing room? Was it Shankly? Was it a teammate who put their arm around you and tried to encourage you?
First team games.
Just the first few. As I say, there, Man City, West Brom, Tottenham. They're your first few.
There wasn't that sort of camaraderie, to be honest.
It was just get on there and do your job.
I mean, when you got people, when you're playing with the people, like, it was Tommy Smith, Big Ron, and Smithy was a bully, and if you missed an opportunity and you didn't score, Smithy would let you know in no uncertain manner.
On the pitch or afterwards or both?
Afterwards, both.
In what sense?
Because we were, I think it was, what was it at the time? I think it was £3 for a draw and £6 for a win. So, £3 was a lot of money for Smithy to lose at that time.
Yeah.
If anyone missed an opportunity.
So what, does he break you? Is he hitting you up against
the
wall?
Well, he certainly, let you know.
Yeah.
He wouldn't go that far, but I mean, he would say, like, give you the look and you just a lot of it wasn't just me. It was he did it to everybody.
Yeah, but that's like a way of keeping the standards and stuff.
Yeah,
like that
I would suppose so. I mean, obviously, I don't think it's that bad today. I wouldn't have thought so.
Yeah. Well, I want to talk about John Toshack as well. Obviously, it's someone you got to know even more in your later career, but as a player, you started having a bit of a relationship with him on the pitch, is that right, before Kevin Keegan comes on the scene? So what was it like playing with John Toshack?
No comment.
Okay, fair enough. Well, and then if we say Kevin Keegan, do you want to talk about him?
Well, Kevin, you couldn't play with Kevin. Yeah, you had to, because even Kevin didn't know what he was going to be doing. It was very difficult to play alongside, to be honest.
Yeah.
I mean, Toshack and Keegan formed a formidable partnership. You got to give them the credit. But when Ray Kennedy came, Kevin couldn't play with Ray Kennedy because Ray Kennedy held the ball up and brought the midfield players into play. Yeah. Whereas Toshack would just be a flick on. It would be a long ball, and obviously, Kevin would lead the flick on, and that's why they became what they did. But I thought Ray Kennedy was an absolutely joy to play with.
Yeah. So was it hard for you to get in the team when Toshack
because I could play in all the positions. You put me back into midfield.
Yeah, so
it suited me.
Yeah, I was going to say, were you ever was there a position you wanted to play at that point, or was it just to play was the main aim?
It was just to play. Yeah. I mean, I could play anywhere. It didn't bother me. As long as you're in the first 11.
Yeah, and can I ask you again about John Toshack? Are we allowed to speak about him, or do you rather not?
Well, there's not anything nice that I can say about John Toshack.
Right.
I mean, he's just a horrible, horrible, horrible man.
Right.
And I'll tell you privately.
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah,
about that story.
Yeah. Okay. No worries at all. Well, we'll carry on and then talk about one that hopefully gives you a bit more happy memories. Is playing Leicester City in 1973. Liverpool need a point to win the league. They get the point. It was the first time in 6 years that this side had won a trophy, never mind, winning the league. So that obviously, I think it was only recently broken as the highest attendance, or that attendance was broken when the Liverpool's new
Yeah.
stand was done. Sorry, not saying that very well, but that atmosphere must have been amazing, and it was like Shankly there with the red shirt on. It's iconic.
Yeah.
You played in it. Just talk us through that day.
I can't remember it, to be honest. I just remember the euphoria of it all, and like you say, it was it was one to remember, that's for sure.
Yeah,
certainly.
Well, do you think enough is made about the fact that that team went 6 years without winning anything? Because obviously, as you said, then Shankly's held to such high esteem, but that team didn't win a trophy for 6 years.
Yeah, I mean, but don't forget, we only got 2 points for the win back in our day, you know. I mean, and it was a hard. We played. What people don't realise is, you know, these players today are playing on billiard tables. You know, we played on 3 different pitches for the season. You know, it was lovely in the summer, and then you had the winter, which it was just snow and clay, and then you come the spring, it was just bumps everywhere, and that wasn't just Anfield. Everywhere. You know, we had a terrific pitch, but when went away, some of the pitches we played on was you could only play in the 4 corners. Yeah. You know, you couldn't pass the ball. Yeah. You know, because it was just bumps and everywhere. It was.
That's why maybe the big players up front, that that was
it. There was no rolling the ball out in our day. Yeah. It was just a big hoof and flick-ons and whatever. Yeah. You know, and that's why Shanks, you know, he wouldn't want it. You know, you don't get it forward and graft.
Yeah. Well, that season that you do in the league with Liverpool, 31 appearances, 13 goals. It's quite a decent return, I'd say. Quite a lot of appearances. But you didn't get a start in either of the 2 legs of the UEFA Cup final. Was that something you were upset with, or was that just part of the squad rotation?
I think it was. I don't know now. I mean, I can only assume so.
Yeah.
I always remember, you know, Shanks would leave me out. Or he would only. So, you know, if he thought, you know, my pace could get me somewhere, you know, and stuff, and you know, and at the time you didn't argue with him. You just had to take it,
accept it, yeah,
and accept it.
Well, obviously to end that season though, with you know, when you've won the league, win the UEFA Cup, that must have been great.
Oh, absolutely.
What were the celebrations like?
We all ended up in Smithy's nightclub, I think. Smithy told us we had to go. You know,
but did he own it, or was it?
Yeah, he owned the nightclub.
So he got a cut of all the celebrations.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
So
and we had to pay to go in.
So was that in town, was it? Or
that was in town.
Yeah. Oh, but great scenes, great nights.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. I mean, we're all, you know. I'm not saying that they were all big drinkers, you know, but they certainly
enjoyed themselves.
Yeah.
Well, obviously, if you go in 6 years without a trophy as well, to win 2 big trophies like that, that's quite an achievement.
Yeah.
I just want to ask you as well about the 74 FA Cup final. I believe there was a bit of a disagreement before kick-off, which led to Chris Lawler going on the bench. Can you?
No, I don't think there was a disagreement. Nobody told me. I mean, I'd played in most of the rounds, and I'd scored in most of the rounds.
Yeah.
And it was only when we got to Wembley that, you know, I wasn't, first of all, I wasn't playing. And then Chris Lawler, who was injured, who couldn't have gone on because Bob Paisley had scolded him with some electric ice on his ankle. And but you know, he felt he you know, he persuaded Shanks to put Chris on the bench rather than me, you know, because he scolded his ankle.
Yeah.
You know, and so at the time I was going out with an actress who was working in London at the Lyric Theatre, and so I just walked out. I said to Stevie Highway, I said, "Yeah, I'm off." He said, "Where you going?" I said, I'm going. I'm not even in the squad. I'm not even on the bench." So he went, "You kidding?" I went, "No, I'm off."
Yeah, so I think some of the people say that you left and then Lawler went on the bench, but you're saying Lawler was on the bench, that's why you left.
Oh, that's why I left, yeah.
Because I think some of the stories are that you stormed out and then they had to put
I didn't storm out, I just walked out, you know.
And was it that you weren't told? It was just like,
I wasn't told.
Is the team just on a board, is it, or something? Or
yeah, I was just, you know, it was just there, you know. Shanks named the team, and And I wasn't involved in any of this, so I said, well, why would I be on the bench?
Yeah. And was there any backlash to that for you, or?
Well, Shanks resigned, didn't he?
Yeah. Yeah. So
I was expecting to, to be going anyway. So and then Bob, obviously, Shanks resigned, and that was that.
Yeah, did Paisley speak to you about how you did that?
Bob said he had his own. That happened to Bob as well.
1950 FA Cup
That's
final.
right. Yeah. He got left out. He said, "I know how you feel," and I said, "Well, there you go, Bob." Well,
that probably helps. Obviously, you have a few more years, and if we just touch on Bob Paisley quickly, what was he like as a man and as a coach?
Well, Bob was cute, and everybody, and as you say, Bob went out and won more trophies than Shanks, but Bob, bless him, could not have done what Shanks did.
Yeah.
Because he didn't have the personality to drag us from where Liverpool were. Bob was cute and learned off Shanks and went on to win more trophies than Shanks. And, and he did well, but he wasn't a nice man.
He wasn't a nice man.
He wasn't a nice man.
No. How come?
Well, when he was... I'll give you one. I'm not being, I don't know. But when Bob was the trainer and running on, I had an unfortunate accident when Jimmy Anfield tackled me, and I went up in the air and came down. And when I came down, I landed on my shoulder, which is your acromioclavicular joint. I dislocated it.
Right.
So when Bob runs on, he goes, what? I said, my shoulder's gone. So he sprayed my shoulder and said, yeah, you're all right now. He said, run it off. I said, it's my shoulder, Bob. I said, I can't move it. I said, it's something's come out. So I had to show him, you better come off then, run it off, shoulder injury.
Well, Shankly didn't like injured players either, so was that a fear for you?
No, he didn't like. He didn't talk to anybody who was injured.
But you were someone who would listen to your body, as you said to us before. So you were happy to, not happy to, but if you needed to, you'd sit out. You wouldn't force yourself through an injury. Or
yeah,
well,
absolutely.
I think that's fair enough. Well, we're going to go to our first break, and then we'll come back and talk about the rest of your career after Liverpool, if that's all right. So we'll see you after a quick advert break.
Hi, I'm Warren, the producer for the Football Historian podcast, and we're here today to talk to you about the Patreon subscription.
Yes, so for just £1 a month for the first 100 people, there's a lot of benefits that you get, and I think £1 is a terrific deal.
Pittance, yes,
£1 only, and you get early access, which means at least 24 hours before everyone else gets the episode, you get to watch it. There's also an extra section, we call it the Football Historian podcast Extra Time, and we ask all the questions to the guests that no one else gets to see unless you're a patron. And on top of that, you're the ones who get to ask the questions. You send them in, we tell you which guest is going to be coming and sitting in this chair. You ask them, we record it, you get to watch it. No one else does. On top of that, we do a monthly special. We did one last night. It was a quiz. You were there.
Yeah, bedlam and great content.
Yeah, so hopefully you can watch that. As I said, we've got a round on Linvoy Primus or Lionel Messi. We've done mastermind stuff, all that. That's going to happen every month. The bigger this grows, we're going to do it even more regularly. Hopefully it'll be once a week. But we need your support. So to do that, £1 a month for the first 100 people. Your early support will be rewarded. From then on, it's £3 a month if you want to support us. If you want to pay £5 a month, you get all that we've just mentioned, but you get a poster. Warren will sign it, I'll sign it, all the lads. We'll get a few of the guests to do it as well. We'll send that out to you. And then for £10 a month, you get all that, the poster, all the early access, and you get a free copy of any of my books. So I've done one on Billy Liddell, Crossing the Park, Tommy Lawrence. They're all worth at least £20. For just £10, you get a copy of the book, all the stuff we've already mentioned. We'd really appreciate your support. We cannot do this without you.
This really is a passion project, and anything people can put into it goes straight back into it. We don't take a wage. We're doing this for free. We're doing this because we enjoy what we do.
That's it. It all makes the content better. And I say from just £1 a month, you can make our dreams come true. Thanks for the support. Enjoy the rest of the episode. Hey, welcome back, part 2. Still joined by Phil Boersma. Thank you for not running away and during the break. We're going to talk now about your move to Middlesbrough. You said before you had a love for the Busby Babes, the Charlton brothers. I think Jack Charlton was the one who got you there. So, leaving Liverpool, you're born in Kirby, is that right?
Yes. No, born in Liverpool.
Sorry, yeah. Born in Liverpool, and then you've gone to You're moving to Middlesbrough. That must have been a big move, just moving away from the city you were born in. So what was that like?
Well, I didn't know anything about Middlesbrough, to be honest with you. It was obviously I'd had a couple of games. I'd played against Jack in a couple of Leeds games, and I'd run him ragged. And obviously, he must have remembered that, you know, as a player. And Bob just comes walking over to me with a piece of toilet paper in his hand, and said in his usual, the Charlton fella's been on the phone, wants you to give him a ring. And I went, do you want me to go, Bob? And he went, well, I don't want you to go. I said, give us the toilet paper. I said, I'll go and phone him. So I phoned the Jack, and Jack says, there's a train leaving Lime Street Station at 12 o'clock, be on it. And put the... That was it. And I went, Jack, he's gone, be on. So I went to Bob, and Bob just said, well, you know, I don't want you to go. And I said, well, I'm going to go and speak to him. Yeah.
They convinced you?
Not really. I was, you know, I just said, that's it, I'm off. So got on the train, and it was great. And Jack picked me up at the station, and I get in the car. Well, it wasn't a car, it was like a van, come car. And I'm there. We've only just gone out the station, and I get this terrible smell, you know, and I had to wind the window down. And Jack says, oh, I'm awfully sorry, Phil. He said, I've been out shooting. He said, and the dogs had a poo in the back of the car. And I went, well, thank God for that, Jack. I thought it was you.
That's a good first impression then for you, yeah.
Great. And then we're driving along, and Jack says, look, Phil, he said, I don't want to be taking you to these big hotels, you know, because I want this, you know, we'll go back to my, you know, he said, my missus is a really good cook. You know, and I went, okay, Jack, that suits me fine. He said, we got there, it was fish fingers, chips and peas. Lovely. And then he says, and then they had a hostel up the road from the ground where all the apprentices would be, you know. He stuck me in there.
The 5-star service.
5-star service, yeah.
But that still convinced you to join?
Well, yeah, absolutely, yeah.
So what was it? Was it Jack Charlton?
It was Jack, yeah. I mean, he was up front, and, you know, and there was no grey areas with Jack.
Yeah.
It was just bump, 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 and that's what I liked about him.
The honesty.
Yeah.
So, obviously, you're moving there. What was it like for your family at that time? You're saying you were moving to Middlesbrough? Well,
you know, me dad was you know, he was from Ajax. My dad, you know, well, I'm not Ajax. He was from Holland, and my mum, they were living in Edgehill at the time. Yeah, it was. I mean, obviously, my mum didn't want me to leave Liverpool, but she knew that football took you away, and that's what happened. So. Yeah.
Well, I think you struck up a bit of a friendship with Graham Souness, if I'm right, when you were there.
Yeah, Graham was. I was instrumental in getting Graham to Liverpool because, you know, Bob was obviously the manager then, and I would come back, and a friend of mine had a garage where Bob went to pick his horses with my mate, and Bob, you know, was, you know, drilling me all the time about Souness, and I said, well, I haven't seen him play yet, Bob, because, you know, Terry Yorrett had chopped him down, and so yeah, well, you know, I've heard he's a bit of a fly-by-night man, and I went, well, fly-by-night man? I said, you know, he likes the nightclubs and stuff, and I wouldn't know, Bob. I've only, you know, just met him really, and so I haven't seen him play. So I went back and told Graham. He said, you know, when you get playing, he said, Bob wants me to see how good you are.
You scouted him for him.
Scout. Yeah. So the next time I was down, I said, he's a Liverpool man. Go and get him. He's still a fly-by-night man. I said, well, no, I've not been out with him, Bob. I wouldn't know.
Was that true?
No.
But I think he was quite a character soon. So even obviously he's a bit younger there in his Middlesbrough days. Was he still the same then? Was he still like
no? Yeah,
rooms,
you could see what he had. I knew right away he'd fit into the Liverpool, type of play.
Yeah,
he bossed everything. He knew he had peripheral vision, and even then, and it became even better. Because he said to me, after, when he went to Italy, you'd had to have peripheral vision in Italy because they'd be coming in at you at all angles, so you daren't hold on to any balls, you had to get rid of it as soon as it come.
Yeah, he wasn't scared of a tackle either himself.
Oh no, he was, he'd be up there with the best at tackling, I mean, I wouldn't put him, as a thug in the Smithy type of tackling, but he could look after himself, Graham.
So what was it like then, just at Middlesbrough at that time? Were any of the players, teammates?
Well, it was great. Yeah, I mean, we had a really good team. But Jack wanted me to play wide right, because David Armstrong was on the left, but I preferred, left-sided or to right. Yeah. Because I could come in and have a shot on my right foot. And not that I couldn't shoot with my left, but I was more balanced, taking people on the left rather than the right, if you call it that. Yeah. And I remember saying to Jack, I remember going in to Jack, and John Craggs was the right back at the time. Now John Craggs and David Mills was up front. Now David Mills was a decent player and was quick, but John Craggs wouldn't hit a pass less than 70 yards, and that's all he would do. I'd be running up and down trying to get a pass off him. Yeah. And so I went in to see Jack, and I said, "Can I have a word with you, Jack?" And he went, "Yeah, of course you can, Phil." I said, "Can I make a slight suggestion?" He went, "What's that?" I said, "Can me and John Craggs swap positions? Let me play right back, and John Craggs can play 20, 30 yards up, up the field." And then, and I could see Jack looking at me, but I said, "Let me explain, Jack." I said, I can get the ball. I then can give it to John Craggs. And then his pass to David Mills isn't 60, 70 yards. It's only 20, 30.
Easier pass forward.
And we can all move up the pitch together. Yeah. And Jack swallowed it, took it, knew exactly what I was saying. "We've just paid £75,000 for you, Phil." He said, "What are the crowd going to think of you? I put right you at right back." And I go, "Well, I'm still going to be playing." Yeah. And I'll get up and down. I'll run past John Craggs.
Yeah, overlap him.
I said, "It just makes sense to me, Jack." I know it does, he said, "but it won't make sense to the crowd that are out there. They won't be able to work that one out, Phil."
Did it ever happen? Or?
No.
You think it would have worked?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, without it, for me it would have worked.
But you went on to do coaching stuff, as we'll touch that. But do you reckon that's the start of your coaching, man? Because you're thinking of the game differently there, or is that just you were frustrated at not getting the ball off the right back?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I'm running up and down the pitch, wasting my energy, just running up and down and not getting
capacity.
And by the time you get up there, they've lost the ball, and I'm just running back. Yeah. And
you always wanted it.
I found it very frustrating, and thank God, Harry, the Luton town manager, came in for me.
Right, yeah.
Yeah, Jack left. Because he was desperate to go and manage Leeds, or whatever, and then John Neal came to Middlesbrough, and then he sold me to Luton.
I was going to ask again about what was it like playing there at Kenilworth Road?
Yeah, lovely. Yeah, it was.
What was the pitch like then?
Fabulous. Yeah, it was good pitch. Yeah, and we had Eric Morecambe coming in and telling us, giving us a boost, half-time boost. We went doing. I'll get you on the show. It was great. Yeah, and so I enjoyed my football because they let me. The manager just gave me the freedom of the park.
Yeah.
and then obviously Toshack came in.
That's all. Before we so the picture Kenilworth Road is famously plastic pitch. Is that after you played there, or was it the Kenilworth Road? Didn't they have the plastic?
Yeah,
pitch
yeah,
there,
that was plastic.
So did
yeah.
you play on that?
Yeah,
one?
yeah.
So what was it like?
I didn't
that?
like it at all. No, it wasn't
different
for me.
bounce and all that.
Yeah, I mean it was. Well, it was just a strange, you know. If anything, too bouncy, you know. You know,
because people said it was like an advantage for Luton because after your games were played there, so you got to know
well,
it more.
Yeah.
Teams,
well, I can understand that, and rightfully so. Yeah, because I mean, it did take a bit of getting used to.
Yeah.
You know, with the bobbles and the bounces, and you know, because the keepers wouldn't be because of a bounce. You know, it went about 10 feet up in the air.
Yeah.
It's just ridiculous.
Yeah, different match.
Yeah.
Well, we'll touch on Swansea briefly. So what was it like being in Wales playing your football there?
Well, it was a fairy tale, you know. Toshack was down there. And we had, when I went there, you know, we had a fabulous players, you know, Jeremy Charles, Alan Curtis, Robbie James, Wyndham Evans, David Giles. You know, they were quality players.
Yeah.
They really were, you know, and we had a really good team, and we should have done better.
Yeah.
You know, but it was only Toshack's ego that stopped them from
fulfilling your potential.
Yeah.
Was it good football you were playing and stuff like that?
Fabulous. We played, you know,
move.
Bob Latchford and Alan Curtis. What a combination.
Yeah.
Unbelievable. You know, Kurt was jinky and Big Bob was great to play with. I mean, he was like another Ray Kennedy. You know, he got hold of everything, brought everybody in, terrific in the air latch, and we had, as I say, just a really, really good team, and we should have done better. I think we just fell away, and I blame, you know, because of Toshack. You know, the lads knew what he was. He was a bit of a control freak, you know, and he didn't like it. Yeah.
So, a different boss you might have gone over fair, you reckon?
Oh, he would. Well, he cut his own throat. I mean, you know, if you go on, I mean, he really should have been the Liverpool manager.
Yeah.
You know, after Bob Paisley, or you know, or after Shanks went. No, sorry, when Bob Paisley went.
Yeah.
And for him, you know, I think because I can't be sure, but you know, because he had a Liverpool shirt on and then took it off
for the
Shankly thing.
Shankly passed away.
Yeah. You know, I don't find anything wrong in that, but the board must have gone, oh yeah, you know, obviously, you know, look at him.
A bit too keen, do you think?
You know, yeah. And then at the end of the game, we're there. We got a 2-2 draw. And then Toshack runs to the cop at the end of the game. And then, so we stayed in Liverpool overnight, and we had a meal. And I was just having a, and I said to him, "What made you run to the cop?" And obviously, you know, the usual Toshack ego. I just wanted to see what sort of reception they'd give me. And I looked at him and went, "Really?"
Well, on a day that's all about Shankly as well, isn't it?
Yeah,
so, yeah,
exactly.
Yeah,
and that cost them. I'm sure that almost did cost them the job.
So just for anyone who's unaware, that's the first match after Bill Shankly passed away at Anfield. Swansea play.
That's it, yeah.
Toshack's the manager of Swansea. He takes his. Was he a player manager, or was he just?
No, he just had the.
But he had a Liverpool shirt on.
Sure,
all stood like the minute silence thing. Yeah, so
yeah,
you're saying Okay, well, obviously you can read into that more as you wish, but we would touch on your injury that ended your playing career. It was an ankle injury. Am I right in saying?
Ankle. It was a compound fracture and dislocation. At Carlisle. No, where was it? Carlisle. Swindon. At Swindon. I don't even think the lad who chopped me down, when I say chopped me down, because he's jumped in at me, the ball's hit him in the face, and then he's took me out. And I was standing on my right leg, and he got a compound fracture and dislocation. First person to me was actually Tommy Smith, who he just went and run away.
So what, your foot like put it the wrong way?
He just went, yeah. He just went, good Lord, you know, ridiculous. And then that was that.
So who was it? Did the tackle?
I can't remember.
Yeah.
It was the centre half.
Yeah, and then so it's what your foot's put it the wrong way. Is it that bad? Is it bowed out and all?
Oh yeah, I thought I was going to lose my ankle.
Yeah, wow.
Yeah. And then the first operation I had, that's when Toshack persuaded me. You know, he said, "Oh, look, you know, you're not going to be as quick as you were or whatever." Look, I could still run and play, but obviously I was going to, you know. And eventually, you know, he persuaded me to pack in.
Yeah.
And I think I was insured for, back in them days, I think it was a huge £35,000, which was a lot of money.
Yeah,
you know, you could buy a house for that. And he said, but, you know, you can come on the coaching side with me, Phil. And I said, well, okay, then go on, well, let's do it. He said, but I want you to do me a favour. And I said, well, what's that? He said, you know, the money that we're going to get for you, I want to buy Dave Rushbury from Sheffield Wednesday, who I need to get right away. You know,
your insurance, buddy?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So can we use your money to buy him?
As you say?
Yeah, well, I said, well, yeah, you know, I'm still waiting for the money.
Yeah, she still.
No, I never got it.
Wow. Yeah.
No, he said he'd get me a testimonial. You know, get Liverpool to come down. We'll have a testimonial. No, still waiting for that as well.
Wow.
Yeah.
So, how long did you say at Swansea then, as coaching with
Toshack?
Toshack?
The Toshack until basically he sacked me on Christmas Eve. One Christmas Eve.
Yeah.
And that was that.
You're kind of glad to get away from him, maybe. Or...
Well, no, it was just I just, you know, I think Dougie Livermore was coaching with me at the time as well. There, you know, Dougie was down there, and he just finished. He never told me. It was the club secretary called me in and said, you know, oh, that's it. You've been sacked, and I said, okay, no problem.
They take your insurance, don't give you a testimonial,
Yes,
sack you on Christmas Eve. Yeah.
Yeah.
Fair enough. I can see maybe why you would want to speak about it more. Well, I think Graham Souness is where you carried on doing a bit more coaching. I've got to hear that you went to Lincoln, you went to Doncaster.
That's right.
You played in their reserves, I believe.
Yeah,
Like your comeback game, was it?
Yeah.
But obviously Souness gives you the chance at clubs like Rangers, Southampton, Blackburn, Newcastle.
That was it. Yeah. I mean, you know. And I can't tell you, Graham turned Scottish football upside down. You know, he just made Rangers into the Colossus. Well, it was big anyway. I mean, but when it was for me, football. You know, Graham buying all the English players. You know, which is good business because he knew after the whatever, the English clubs would buy them back anyway.
Yeah.
You know, so, but, you know, Terry Butcher, Trevor Francis, Graham Roberts, you know, they were great
players, and
great
they want to go back.
We had a really, well, we went on to win the league in early for 7-8 seasons.
Yeah. Well, and if we can just touch on last year then, I think you worked as a physio, you worked as a coach, you worked as an assistant manager. What was your favourite role after football? Like maybe even if you just tell us the club as well, but what was your favourite?
Oh well,
time?
Obviously Liverpool. You know, you can't take away. You know, my boyhood dream of growing up as a kid and playing for them. But Rangers was just phenomenal.
Yeah.
You know, I enjoyed the spell up there. You know, it was great. And
But I was going to ask you as well. You've obviously with some of the clubs you were at there, the biggest rivalry. So you obviously got Rangers, Celtic, Liverpool, Everton.
Well,
Liverpool,
one
United,
of the biggest
Newcastle,
rivalries would be when we were in Turkey. Galatasaray, and Fenerbahce.
So you were there that game?
Of course.
Yeah, wow.
Absolutely. Yeah. It was unbelievable.
So what did you think when he's doing that on the pitch?
Well, I I couldn't believe it, you know, but the funny thing was, he couldn't get the flag in
The centre circle.
because the centre circle's
So hard, was it? Yeah.
so hard. They'd put cement on the centre circle. Oh,
But he's like a hero in Galatasaray.
he got postcards on it
Yeah.
and everything. I mean, it was, and I loved it there. It was great. I mean, what I liked about them is that they wanted to learn.
Yeah.
You know, the players there, you know, it was totally different that they were playing, the way Graham wanted them to play, you know. And we did well.
Yeah.
You know, we did well.
Well, it's quite a career you've had there. Obviously, we spoke about Liverpool a lot, but there's a lot of things that went on afterwards. We're going to go to a quick break, and I'm going to talk about some of your earlier memories in football before that. But we'll see you after another affair break. Welcome back to the next section of the Football Historian podcast.
Sorry, Pete. I'm really sorry to interrupt you. Where'd you get that shirt from?
Oh, this Lazio one was just from Classic Football Shirts. Where'd you get yours from?
Thank you. Mine's from Classic Football Shirts as well.
Wow. Well, when I bought my shirt, I used the code TFH10 to get 10% off all orders. Did you use the same?
I did. I used a discount code. I think it was the same as yours.
Oh, TFH10. Oh, that's great, because if you want to get 10% off all your orders, you can use TFH10 at classicfootballshirts.com.
Unbelievable deal.
Hello, welcome back, Football Historian Podcast. As this is the Football Historian Podcast, we'll talk about football history, the stuff we ask every guest. Obviously, you being a player and a coach, you've got memories on the field, but maybe off it. What was it like? What's your first memory of football, maybe?
First memory of football, it would have to be my uncles, really, coming back from watching the Liverpool games, and I thought it was Liverpool at the time, because all it was little. I go, Liverpool, is it Liverpool? I'm only be 5 or 6 at the time.
Yeah.
And then I realised it was Liverpool, you know, as I got older. Yeah, so they just really guided me along, and then when I got to, you know, when I could get to the games myself, around about 9 or 10, Everton were the better team basically at the time. And
so did you prefer Everton then, or?
Well, no, not really. I mean,
just like
I just wanted to watch. They were a good team back in the early '60s. You know, Shanks wasn't, you know, Phil Taylor, I think, was still the Liverpool manager basically, and I would, you know, go in the Everton boys' pen and watch Everton, and next week go in Liverpool's.
Yeah, so who were your like heroes growing up for both sides, or like, you know, the heroes? Just who did you like?
Well, no hero. Yeah, I mean, I can't remember, to be honest. Obviously Roy Vernon, you know, Jimmy Gabriel, Alex Young, you know, they were the Everton players.
So, and obviously you got through as a centre back, you play as a winger, you play in midfield, you play as a striker. Was there someone then you thought, I want to be the one scoring goals, I want to be the one clearing off the line? What was it that got you most excited, or was it just
Well, I would think Alan Ball, you know, the way he got about the pot, you know, he was everywhere, Bally. I mean, you know, and he ran around. He was hilarious. He used to bark at people, and, you know.
He was really little as well, wasn't he?
Because playing against him, you know.
And his white boots and all that.
And his white boots and everything, yeah. But he's a terrific player, Bally. I mean, you know, without a doubt.
Yeah, well, he's definitely one of the best Everton ever had. Well, if I can ask you, what was do you know what your first game was that you went to as a fan, or a team now? Or if I can ask you then, maybe in your early days, is there a game that stands out as the best game you've watched as a supporter?
Again, I can't remember.
Okay, well, if I put it then on your career, is there a one game from your career maybe that just stands out above others? Maybe you played your best or it meant the most?
Well, obviously the thing that stands out was me hat-trick, my first half hat-trick, you know, against Tottenham. Yeah. Which was a right foot, left foot and a header, you know, so...
Perfect.
Yeah, that was the, you know... and then everybody reminds me I scored a goal against Stoke City, I think it was. Picked it up outside our box and ran the length of the pitch and scored a goal. And funnily enough, one of the Stoke players was John Mahoney, who was a Swansea, who we got to know, he said it was funny, Phil, because when you picked the ball up and you were running at me, and I said, I'm going to bring him down. And as I'm thinking I'm going to bring him down, he'd gone past me. I said, I remember that, John. Yeah.
So that was you at your best, and you reckon running at people, beating them.
That was what I was strong at. That was the when you, and I used it to the best I could, really, basically.
Yeah, and if I just ask you maybe your favourite era, so it doesn't have to be what you played in, but obviously you said you grew up and your uncle's telling you about Billy Liddell. You're playing in the 70s. You've got coaching during the 90s, the football today. What do you reckon is the best era of football that you've seen or witnessed?
Well, as a player or as a coach?
So up to you, whatever you think overall.
Well, obviously you can't beat playing, Yeah. I mean, so I would think obviously, I thought, I would like to think my best days would have been at Liverpool. To be honest with you, when we won the league, and we won the Charity Shield, and we won the, and they you can't beat them times. Yeah, it would certainly be that.
Yeah. And then if I can ask you the top 5 players that you played with in your career, if that's a hard one, but if you don't mind.
Well, Sir Roger Hunt.
Is he number 1, or are you just saying 5?
Well, yeah, Sir Roger was certainly a great to play. I mean, he started everything, you know what I mean? Everything went through Roger, for closing down, and he would be the pivotal one that you would work off. Graham, because when I was travelling back from Middlesbrough to Liverpool, Bob Paisley would be in my mate's garage and he would be saying, and when I saw Graham playing, I thought, he's certainly a Liverpool player. Bobby Charlton. What can you say?
Yeah.
He had everything. Bestie. Again, you just got to admire them type of players. What they did.
Push you for one more for your 5th.
I would have to go probably Jimmy Greaves.
Well, about 5, is he? So,
he scored goals for fun, didn't he?
Yes,
really?
he's still the all-time top goal scorer in English football, isn't he? So yeah, and that's not bad even when you.
Oh, I thought Alan had broken.
No, he's the Premier League record, but Jimmy Greaves is the proper record.
Well, Alan, about modern day, just that. I know he's finished now, but Alan was up there with the.
So yes, you see him and playing for Newcastle and coached him. What was he like every day in day out?
Terrific, yeah. Good trainer. Wanted to learn.
Yeah.
And just stuck the ball away. When it came to him. Yeah. And you can't ask for anything better than.
Oh, he was quite a player.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. And I was just going to ask again. Well, normally say the top 5 players ever of all football who you think you've ever seen. Would you be able to give us them? So it doesn't have to be people you've played with, just in general. Who do you think the top?
Europeans?
Anyone. Well,
obviously Pele, Maradona. It would certainly be the 2 main European type of players for me anyway, back in that I would say were arguably the best. Cruyff, I'd have to put in there, being half Dutch myself. Yeah,
Pele, Maradona, Cruyff.
Yeah.
Not bad names.
Well, and Bestie and Bobby Charlton.
Yeah. Okay, well, what we'll do is we're going to have a final break, and then after that we're going to settle some of the biggest debates in football history. So I want you to pick a side on a few questions we've got. Nothing too hard, but don't worry. And then we'll wrap it all up. So yeah, final break, and we'll be back in a sec. Are you looking for a Kazakhstani football team to support? Then I think FC Kemay is the team you should support. Do you agree?
Growing up as a child, I always had FC Kemay posters on my bedroom wall.
Well, and all the children of the Kazakhstani future will have FC Kemay posters on their wall because FC Kemay is the team to support, and because of that, Tom has made us a chant that we're all going to follow. So,
Up the Kemi, up the Kemi,
Up the Kemi. Make sure you follow them on all the social medias, all the posts and all the things you should follow will appear below us right here. And you should be a supporter of FC Kemi.
Live, laugh, Kemi.
The debate.
Hello, welcome back. This is The Debate, where we settle the biggest debates in football history. We're joined by Phil Boersma, former Liverpool and many other teams and coaches. But I want you to help me with the first one, which is Gerrard, Lampard or Scholes, and everyone can ask for the first, second and third as well, if possible.
Stephen. Scholesy. Frank.
Yeah. And did you work with Gerrard at all when you were at the club, or was he still too young then?
No, he was only a young boy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But obviously watch them as a fan and that were
Yeah.
the best.
Yeah. I think I did say to, oh no, that was Robbie Fowler. I remember there was a bit of a debate going on, you know, Ronnie Moran wanted to put Davy Fairclough up front. And I said, we've got a kid. I used to go and watch the kids, and I said to Graham, we've got a kid there called Fowler. I said, he's the nearest thing I've seen to Jimmy Greaves. I said, he's a proper goal scorer. He said, Graham said, are you sure? And I went, absolutely. I said, he's just a natural goal scorer. And, the rest, Graham put him on. He scored 2, I think, on his debut.
Yeah, and I think he just scored a few, so he's, you were proved right.
Yeah.
Well, so obviously Gerrard, then you said Scholes, second, then Lampard, but the next debate we have are actually 2 figures on your mug, Pele or Diego Maradona?
Pele.
Is that easy or?
Well, only because, he's the first one to do it. I mean, Maradona... didn't quite get 3 World Cups. Pele did.
Yeah, there's a lot. I think scoring a winning goal as a 16-year-old, that's not bad, is it?
I mean, not bad at all. Yeah. And went on to win another 2.
Yeah.
Maradona really should have broken it, or at least equalled it. And no, Pele would get me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Get the vote. Okay, and a more modern one is Cristiano Ronaldo or Lionel Messi?
I'd have to go for Messi, I think.
Yeah. I think he's got quite a landslide vote, but there's a lot of people who think this is a close debate. So what do you think makes Messi better than Ronaldo, or better
I think more a team player. I think, Ronaldo was more up on his own, and, where Messi could, he had all the structure of the modern game. He could dribble, he could pass, and he could score goals, really. I mean, I'm not saying Ronaldo couldn't, but Messi just had a better...
edges it, yeah.
Yeah.
But I think as well that another interesting question about these two is that if they're the best 2 players to have played in the last 15, 20 years, who do you reckon the third best is behind them 2?
In the last 15 years?
15, 20 years, sort of like, just recent memory.
Well, I'd have to put Stephen in there.
Yeah.
I mean, he was a Liverpool great, I mean, God blimey, they couldn't... He was up there with the best of them, Stephen.
Yeah, okay, well, that's fair enough. You're not the first to say that either. The next one is the greatest team to ever exist. So we've had Brazil 1970, we've had, the teams over a 2-3 year period. It doesn't have to be, for one game, but, who do you think is the greatest team that's ever played?
In Europe?
Just anywhere, yeah, in football.
Well, obviously,
history.
you look at Barcelona and what teams they've had, and you can even go back to when Man United were ruling back in the with the Busby Babes.
Yeah.
And even when Shanks really took over. I mean, we Liverpool were up there at the.
Yeah, between those 3.
It's them 3 really.
Yeah.
I mean,
who would win in the league between them 3?
You're asking me that. Liverpool.
Yeah, go on, that'll do. That's fine. We can stop you there. Right, and then just another one, which I think I know the answer to, but I've been asked to ask it, is club or country? What would you prefer?
Club.
Yeah, I thought so. Seems most people from the city agree with that. And then just if I can ask one final question, is your all-time five-a-side team? So it can be players you've played with, players you haven't played with. It can be players before you played, anything, anytime. It can be players who are playing now. We have in goal. Who do you reckon the best goalkeeper would be?
Well, I'd have to go for Clem.
Okay, and then what would you do? Would you do like two defenders, two midfielders, or?
Two defenders would be. Cool. Richard Goff would be one.
Okay.
Possibly Terry Butcher.
And then maybe we go one midfielder, one striker.
One midfielder would be Graham.
Yeah.
Striker, Sir Roger Hunt.
Nice. Oh, would you get on the bench? Or?
I'd be on the bench.
Yeah. As a coach or as a sub?
Sub.
All right, that's great. Well, just before we finish, thank you very much for joining us. I do really appreciate it. Is there anything you want to plug or anything you want to talk about for people to get involved in, or are you happily enjoying retired life at the moment?
Well, yeah, I'm still alive. I'm still suffering with all my footballing injuries, and they're not getting any better as you get older. But no, I'm fine.
Yeah, you're all good. Well, so we do really appreciate you coming in. It's great to have someone obviously who's played the game, win some massive trophies, had such a rich history within the game, and thank you very much for joining us.
Oh, you're welcome.
This has been the Football Historian Podcast. Thank you very much for watching, and we'll see you on the next episode.